Well, a movie about gun control and faith is playing for one night only at more than 750 theaters across America.
It's called The Reliant, and in this week's Courtney's Corner, I chatted with the producer and actor Kevin Sorbo about the film. Why did you decide to produce a movie with the CEO of the U.S. Concealed and Carry Association on the Second Amendment?
Well, I decided to do the movie because I like the script. I don't think necessarily the movie's about the Second Amendment completely. The movie's about what happens when America has a total economic collapse. The dollar becomes devalued to basically nothing, and riots break out, and looters break out, and violence breaks out. And he is forced to protect his family. His family is encircled by a group of bad guys at their house that followed him out to his house. And they just opened fire. And the only way to protect his family is to really fire back, to let him know, I'm not going to let you kill my family. So it really is about what happens with this family, dealing with that issue and dealing with their faith or lack of faith, their belief in the Second Amendment, and some people in the family don't believe in the Second Amendment. It really brings in all sides and ultimately ends at the very end of the movie being held together as family by their faith and by their love for each other.
Critics are calling this conservative fear-mongering propaganda. What's your response to that?
Well, they're gonna say that about anything about anybody. You can pretty much talk about any topic out there, and you're always going to get one side or the other coming out and say it's fear-mongering. This is not the only movie that's ever been out there that has violence in it. I think we all know that. Pretty much every movie Hollywood puts out has gun violence in it. So maybe they should start labeling every single movie that comes out of Hollywood as fear-mongering.
You mentioned the importance of starting a dialogue on gun control. What would you like that conversation to sound like?
Well, it'd be nice to have you know, both points of view being said in a civil manner. Let's break it down. Let me ask you this: if you're at home with your family and somebody starts shooting at you, breaks into your house, do you wish you had a gun, or do you wish you had words to make them stop shooting at you? The reality is evil exists, and we have to find a place out there. You know, our forefathers, if we're going to sit there and talk about the Second Amendment here, our forefathers actually created the Second Amendment to protect individuals from a tyrannical government. It was brought up during the war with Britain. Britain was the most powerful empire in the world at the time, and it's a miracle with the ragtag army that the Americans were able to put together to defeat the most powerful you know, army and country in the world at that time. So this movie sort of, if it was an offshoot of why the Second Amendment is there, is really, once again, just comes down to you have the right to protect yourself. And I think we all do. If somebody broke into my house with my family, we're going to kill all of us. I'm not just going to lay down and let them kill me. I'm going to fight back one way or another. I don't care if it's with a gun or with a pitchfork. I'm going to do something to fight back.
Data from the CDC shows states with the highest rates of gun deaths are those with weak gun laws and high rates of gun ownership. Is there any proposed gun legislation that you do support?
Any proposed? I don't know what, I'm not up to date on anything that's new within the proposed. I mean, to me, if anything, we need to keep the guns out of hands of crazy people. I mean, there's plenty of that. I think pretty much every school shooting, every shooting that's ever taken place in America, for the most part, has been in the hands of somebody you found out later that had psychological problems. So, you know, the Parkland shooter, for instance, had over 40 visits to his home from officials because of all the threats he made, and yet nothing was done.
AMC Council Bluffs, Oakview Plaza, and Twin Creek Cinemas are showing The Reliant. Right now, it's scheduled to play once at 7 p.m.